Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about what would I recommend for a beginner colorist. So the book that I would recommend for a beginner colorist, it would have to be Nightfall from Maria Trolley. And this is the reason why I'm actually recommending this coloring book, even though it's kind of pricey, is because you will get the best experience while coloring. Especially if you're a beginner, you want to see if you're going to enjoy it. And I feel like coloring on a better quality paper, you would get that experience. Now that we got that out of the way, the paper quality is the best, and you get different illustrations in this coloring book, whether it's nature, birds, animals, and even humans. So you get very diverse images in this coloring book. Like here is one of the little girls, here is nature, and you can even use watercolors on this type of paper, and obviously color pencils and markers. It all depends if you're willing to lose that image in the back. But I feel like if I would have known what color book to color on, or what someone would recommend, even though it might be a little bit pricey, I would have probably gone for this coloring book from the beginning. So the next thing is, if you're not willing to break, the bank for a coloring book, the next coloring book that I would recommend that has a great quality paper, I would have to recommend Creative Heaven coloring book. Now this one is like around $5.99, and I actually did have a good experience coloring in this paper. I used even watercolors, markers, colored pencils as well, and I didn't have to break the bank. But obviously this paper would not be able to compare to this type of paper in this coloring book. And the last one, they're still the same price, but if you ask me, I would go for Creative Heaven's coloring books because they have better quality paper than Creative Space paper. But don't get me wrong, Creative Space papers, you're able to still color. You just have to put a little bit more elbow crease to it. And there is a lot of amazing coloring books out there printed on Creative Space paper. So yeah. Okay, so the next thing that I would recommend for coloring pencils. Now I broke this part down in 3 parts as what color pencils I would recommend, and what markers I would recommend as well, and what watercolors would I recommend as well for a friendly budget, and where I started from as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the Crayola ones. I was able to get these when they were on really friendly budget. I actually got these for $13, I think, around there. But for now, I seen them on Amazon for $18. I think that's the cheapest I seen it right now. And but you don't necessarily need all the 100 color pencils. If you start off with the 24 or 50 color pencils, it will work for you. And here are some of the images that I have colored with Crayola, because people don't believe that you could color with Crayola. Like, it's impossible. And to tell you the truth, it's possible to color with Crayola, especially on good quality paper. So all this was done with Crayola, and this was done with the 24 pack. And I enjoyed it. I have a great experience with it as well. I didn't struggle with it at all. And then the next one that I'm going to show you as well was colored with Crayola. All this was done with Crayola. And again, great experience because of the paper quality. I didn't struggle. Okay, so now that I showed you guys what color pencils I would recommend, it would have to be Crayola. Now there's a lot of friendly budget color pencils out there, but this is the ones that I would recommend for you guys because this is where I started, and it taught me a lot. It taught me how to force myself to actually, you know, layer and mix colors together to get what I want. Because from there, when I decided to move on to oil color pencils or wax color pencils, I already had the basics down, which was layering and mixing colors together. So the next thing that, this is just a little extra thing from, you know, from the coloring pencils. If you're into coloring pencils, if you want to start coloring with color pencils, I would recommend or colorless pencil blender. And the one that I would recommend would have to be the Prismacolor blender and the Caran d'Ache. So those are just the little extra things for the color pencils. You don't have to buy this if you don't want to. Okay, now for watercolors. I understand that there is different watercolor palettes out there that you could, you know, buy and stuff like that. But I started off with Crayola, and these are washable markers and they're water-based. Now you could use this as is, like just regular markers, or you could use them as watercolors. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So I have my little porcelain palette right here, and I bought that. That's just a little extra thing as well. I bought this at the 99¢, and of course this is another little extra thing for watercolors, is get yourself a good watercolor pen brush, and I use the Pentel, which is one of my favorite ones, or you could use a regular brush. Okay, so the way that I would use this is just add it like that, or you could even mix colors together. What color should I pick? So if I want to grab some of this, I could spread it out like that as watercolor, and I could make it as translucent or intensify the color by adding more of that pigment onto it. And you could mix them and you get a different color. Now you don't have to go ahead and buy the 100 color pack. You could start off with the 50, because I actually have the 50 as well, and I enjoyed it so much that I decided to go ahead and get the 100. It's not necessary for you to go get it, it's just I enjoyed it. So this is something else that I color with Crayola markers as a watercolor. So let me show you guys. So I colored this with watercolor markers, the Crayola ones, and I enjoyed it as well. The pigment's so intense that it just makes it more vibrant. So yeah, and I showed you guys already the two things that I would extra little things, a little palette, or you could even use it on a plastic sheet of paper and your water brush. That's all you need. Okay, so we're getting to the last part. I'm just cleaning my little palette. The last part, we have to be markers. Now, these are alcohol markers. Now, there's different brands now that I wish I could try, but since these still work for me, I don't see the purpose of buying new ones. So this is the ones that I started off from the beginning. Even before I even got into the coloring community, I was already doing like card making and stuff. So I have enjoyed them. This is the Touch 5 80-piece color markers, and I have colored and used them a lot. It brings some skin tones as well, and here they are. Actually, this is my Copic one. Here they are. These are the ones that are inside this bag. Now, would I say that they blend as like the Copic markers? No, they don't. They don't. So, but it has good wide range of colors. And of course, if you don't know this, when you go ahead and color with markers, you could go ahead on top of it with color pencils to intensify that look or to add extra details. And this actually ran me around when I bought them in the beginning, and I bought them on eBay. I got them for I think 40 bucks or cheaper. I don't really remember. It was a very long time ago, probably like 2-3 years ago. And now I wish I could try out the Kelly art markers, but I just haven't had the chance to get around and buy them. But if I could, I heard nothing but good things about the Kelly art markers. So if you can't find this, you could get the Kelly art, because I found that they're cheaper than these ones right here. So that's what I would basically recommend for a beginner colorist. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys did, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you do subscribe, make sure you guys hit that little bell for notifications, so whenever I do upload another video, you guys get notified. Okay, bye.